This is CJ Ferry. How are you doing today? It's always great to see you, and welcome to Spindle City Commentary. Spindle City Commentary is a program that we have on a regular occurrence where we discuss some of the issues that we don't address on the show. Spindle City Commentary is a great venue, not only for both I and my co-host Chip Camara, but also for members of the community who wish to utilize it. Today I want to talk about a travesty done by our city council and a travesty done by our mayor. I have seen politics for the longest time in some of the worst ways, but yesterday it was atrocious. Yesterday, all the neighborhood leaders, Natalie Mello, Dawn Surratt, John Sylvia, Carlos Caesar, Nicole Sylvia, Helen Rigo, came out in full support of Pay As You Throw. And I think that was done mainly because the city is looking at a huge deficit and the mayor needs the people to support it. Now, these leaders, one in particular, came out and said that these people who come up here against Pay As You Throw, saying they're the face of the people of Fall River. And they also quoted that, they're saying that 80-year-old women and 80-year-old men cannot pay for the bags and they can't afford them. Well, for many of those people, it's very true. And they're quoting, well, my grandmother's 80 and my father's 75, et cetera, and they're buying the bags. Well, you know what? These bags are a money grab. They have been a money grab. And when we look at the 2016 fiscal year budget, we're seeing this as a money grab, because they've now put that in the budget for $3 million for next year, even though we have a waste management team which hasn't even made a report yet on what we're going to do. That says to you, the people of Fall River, okay, up yours. I'm putting this team together just to make it look good. And Councilor Mayoza, you know this is the case. You know that this is a farce. This is a big joke, and you're doing it. So you're just as complicit. Okay? You want to deceive the people of Fall River to bolster this mayor or bolster your position somehow. And, that's just not right. But it's not only these people that came out yesterday. It was the lack of people that was out. And, because some guy is dead or some guy is on vacation or some guy's tired, doesn't mean you don't come out and stop your fight. Okay? A lot of you people want to be a political power, a political presence. You want to be a change. But you know what? You're failing miserably. You can't be a political change when you're not committed to the task. Politics is a war. It's not a game, okay? It's a war. And when you fall asleep on the job, the enemy takes over. And we look at this and we go, can this really be happening? We look at what happened at the city council on April 21st, and we say, is this really what Fall River wants? I'm going to quote a high-ranking official in city government who spoke off the record and said, this city council is ignorant. They are not intelligent. They do what they're told. And that's what happened again last night. You did what you were told. Is this what you want representing Fall River? They approved a TIF last night for a business where they said, oh no, and they touted this. They touted this as not being able to have affordable housing or low-income housing, okay? But it's found out yesterday, after the TIF is approved, 8-0, everyone but Joe Camara voted for this TIF. It's found out that, actually, low-income housing is available, and that's left to the owners of the property. I told you that. I said that. Do you understand why it's so frustrating for someone like myself who brings these facts to you? I brought them to the city council. And you know what? They held me to the line on the 3 minutes. When you're talking about a serious issue, somebody from the council said, you know what? This guy's got the facts. I even email to all the city council all the facts. I email them the law. I email them the regulations so that I don't have to go through them over and over again at a citizen's input time. We already know. I meet with people regularly on how to solve the city's financial problem, on how to solve the city's shortfalls. But they don't call me. But they do call people and offer them jobs. And we look at the last 2 jobs that were just given to Bill Kenny, the new city planner, and Brad Kilby, the new city assessor. And we say, how do they get these jobs? How? Because they were pivotal in the election of Sam Sutter as mayor. They worked that campaign. And they're not going to say they didn't, because guess what? I have the physical evidence that they did. Actual physical evidence. I don't make statements unless I can back them up. And I'm sure that they won't say they didn't. And you look at Bill Kenny, and you say, well, your great claims to fame are the fact that you worked on the Redevelopment Authority, another failure for the city of Fall River, and you worked on South Coast Rail, another failure for the city of Fall River. I said to this city 10 years ago. I said to this city 5 years ago. I said to this city 2 years ago. I said to this city a year ago. South Coast Rail will not happen in Fall River. And I was negative. You know, sometimes facts are negative, but they're facts. And you have to accept the facts. And one of the facts that I'm beginning to accept most strongly is that the elected officials of Fall River are stupid. Yes, I said it, stupid. And the people of Fall River are like the rats that followed the Pied Piper. You're all lemmings. You just walk along to get along. And you will have the same things over and over again. Those who do not learn from history are destined to repeat it. And this city does it all the time. Many people in the city say all 9 city councilors need to go. They're even saying now that the mayor needs to go. You know, Mr. Mayor, at least with Will Flanagan, we knew we were getting screwed. But at least he gave us the lube and a kiss to go with it. You, on the other hand, are just grabbing it and shoving it all the way in, and you don't care how much it hurts. You're bleeding a stone. If I could liquidate my property in Fall River without taking such a major hit, I would have done it, and I'd been gone. 1,200 plus comments on life in Fall River on the internet. You can Google it yourself. About if you're planning to move to Fall River, don't. Go somewhere else. How are you going to market that? How is your tourism director going to market Fall River? I have an idea. Come to Fall River, heroin capital of the world. Come here and get stoned. Come to Fall River, poverty capital of America. If you need welfare, come to Fall River. We'll give it to you. You wonder why businesses don't come to Fall River? You wonder why businesses can't stay afloat? Because your city council, your mayor, do nothing to make Fall River better. You know, a public policy statement, which I presented at the city council meeting, approved by a then mayor and then city council, which wasn't that long ago, put out that Fall River should put in more low-income housing. More. And the city council and the mayor signed on to that. Is that what you want? Do you want more dregs of society? And I'm not saying that every poor person in Fall River is the dreg of society. What I am saying, though, is when you put the welcome mat out for those that don't work, for those that are leeches and suck off the system, and for a vast majority of the people that come to Fall River who abuse the system, okay, where they sell their food stamps to buy drugs, sell their food stamps to buy booze, where they try to use their medical assistance to get Percocet and other narcotics to sell on the streets. Yes, this is what's happening. This is Fall River. Property values across the state are increasing. In Fall River, they're still declining. I have a family member who moved away from Fall River and has never come back and has no intentions of it. I have very good friends that I went to school with here in Fall River, and they've moved away and they'll never come back. The mayor touted in his State of the City campaign speech that Amazon's coming and they got 500 permanent full-time jobs. That's a lie. That is a lie. Amazon hires mainly temporary and seasonal employees. If this warehouse opens, it is going to be a state-of-the-art robotic warehouse. The majority of the work and the majority of the workforce will be robotic. It will not be John Q. Public or Mary Smith. This is economic development for Fall River. And we give TIFs to the 1% in Fall River who can afford to pay the taxes. But we can't do that, because if we make them pay the taxes, they might go somewhere else. Go somewhere else. I'll quote the same 1% population. We've bled the city dry. There's nothing left to take. I won't invest another dime until I can make a buck off of it. That's good business. Do I blame Mechanic Mill 1 for going for that TIF? No. I would have done the same thing. If you're going to give me $300,000 over 10 years to improve my property, I'm going to do it. Well, you know what? Maybe every property owner in Fall River should start saying, hey, I'm going to go with market rate rents only. Maybe the property owners in Fall River should turn around and say, it's time to stop taking Section 8 certificates. Not going to take them anymore. That's a business decision. Just like for Mechanic Mill 1, it will be a business decision on whether or not they want to take low-income housing. And City Council Jazel Correa turns around and says, oh no, they've committed to 100% market rate rents. Hey, Jazel, get your head out of your backside. If they can't rent them for $1,400 a month, they're going to go to low income in Section 8, because a little is better than nothing. And that is a business decision. Can you understand how this is business? They're going for a historic tax credit on this mill, $1.8 million, which they will sell on the open market for about 1.65, 1.7, or maybe a little less. Would I do it? Oh, definitely. But the mill's not even in the National Register of Historic Places. I don't even think it's on the Fall River Register or the Fall River list of significant buildings. But we're going to go for a historic tax credit on it. Are you serious? Milk the system. That's what Fall River is about. And let's look at the next new announcement. A casino is going to come to the Fall River area. Whether it be Somerset or Tiverton, we won't know. But it is 400 feet away from the Fall River Tiverton line. Now, isn't it amazing that just a couple of weeks ago, the City Council approved water contracts into Tiverton, maybe even into that area? What did Tiverton know that they weren't telling Fall River when they entered into this contract? See, people, the problem is is you are ignorant. You don't pay attention. You don't listen to the facts. And then when you get someone like me who tells you the facts the way they are, I'm negative. And you can't have that. You had a neighborhood leader at the city council meeting saying, I can't even take pride in my city council anymore. Is that what Fall River needs? A city that can't take pride in itself or in its elected officials? You know, the recall was the start of a great movement. It showed that the people of Fall River cared. And somehow or another, people let their personal lives intertwine in that. And they started making everything personal. And they destroyed their own political power, their own political force, that people didn't even want to be associated with them. The term recaller now is a negative connotation attached to a group of people who were doing what they felt was right for the city of Fall River. Now granted, every organization, every group of people has its wingnuts. But you know what? A lot of people saw beyond that for that election. But that election's over, and it's time to move on. Some of them have now gone out and created a nonprofit. They're trying to raise money. For what, we don't know. And the odd part about it is a lot of those people are the wingnuts. They have good intentions. But again, the implementation's wrong. It's just like with me. I'm not a very personable guy. I never have been a very personable guy. But you know what? I tell it like it is. And if you don't like it, pound tar. Maybe if the people of Fall River opened their eyes and saw what's really going on, tell these city councilors, I don't want you as my city councilor. Please, do me the favor and don't run. I can tell you why they're all running. I can tell you right now, Jazel Correa, quote unquote, is making a serious look at the potential for a mayoral bid. He's going to run for mayor. Do I think Fall River is ready for another mayor under 30? Not in your life. Do I think Jazel has some great ideas? Yes. But I think he's also bought and paid for. And that's the problem. The 1% want the 1% in that they can control. So unless you're a puppet, don't expect to get elected. There are no such thing as free elections in Fall River or anywhere else. It's just in Fall River we're a little more obvious about it. You approved a TIF giving $300,000 to an organization, a group of men who are part of the Fall River 1%. They needed that like they needed a hole in the head. But again, they're a business. They said it's all for market rate rents. But after the TIF is approved, because again, you, the city council, are stupid. And that's not my comment. I agree with it, but that's not my comment. Because the option of going with low-income Section 8 housing is available to the property owners. Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe all of you are on what I call the contributory payroll. You need to seriously look not only at what your candidates are doing and what your elected officials are doing, but who is paying them. They are all bought and paid for. Now, there are a few candidates out there which I'm looking at very seriously and saying, you know, might be a very good candidate. But I'm looking at who they're associating with, who they're affiliating with, and also who in city government is trying to get them on their side. You know, Fall River is a tough town. because nobody wants to do what's right. You know, Mr. Mayor, if you were serious about everyone sharing the sacrifice, you would have started with that. So we know you're not serious about it. We know that it was a whole bunch of political bull. Okay? And if I wanted that much bull, I'd go out to Representative Schmidt's farm and I'd shovel up my own. Why don't you talk to the people who know? Why don't you talk to the people who actually know? Not your political flunkies. Not the Brad Kilbys. Not the Melissa Panchleys. And not even two former mayors, one of whom is a major player that created this wreck known as the Fall River housing situation. We have a glut of apartments. Yet we're going to give more TIFs and money to create more? I don't know, Mr. Mayor. I don't know where you're going. I don't know what you plan on doing, but I'll tell you right now, I'd vote for Mickey Mouse. Wait, better than that. I would vote for Ron Cabral before I voted for C. Samuel Sutter. And that's not saying much. Your transparency has been fake. There has been no transparency. You have an office at the Cherry Webb building. Why, we don't know. Who's paying for it, we don't know. And why it was even created, we don't know. You have an office on the 6th floor. Use it. That's to make you available for the public. You're so important, so transparent, that you send your flunkies out to make appearances. The Little League team opened this past weekend. They called out on many elected officials to come out and throw out the opening baseball. They called out Paul Schmidt. They called out Alan Sylvia. They even got Paul De Silva there. But the mayor, as usual, was nowhere to be seen. The unseen mayor. This isn't what Fall River wants. But this is what Fall River's getting. You look at the neighborhood leaders, they've all flopped. They all went from one mayor to the next. You know, and I said it last night at the city council chamber, and I'll say it now. If you want a good job in Fall River, learn how to, number one, kiss a lot of posterior. In other words, ass. And two, learn to fellatio. In other words, give a good BJ. Because you know what? That's how you get ahead in Fall River. And that is what the people of Fall River no longer want or need. If this is a Fall River you want, let us know. If you want a better Fall River, get up, make a sign, stand out in front of Government Center and let them know. If you don't want pay-as-you-throw, tell them. If you want pay-as-you-throw, tell them. If you want this mayor, let him know. But stand by your convictions. Don't do it in silence anymore. We've had enough of the silence in Fall River. The silence can't go on anymore. It's time for the people to come out of the woodwork. It's time for the anonymous to no longer be anonymous. It is time for the people of Fall River to rise and revolt against the tyrants that sit in Government Center. Because that's exactly what this city council and this mayor is, tyrants. Don't get me on the school committee because they're not tyrants. They're just idiots. They just do whatever Meg Mayo Brown wants. And let me tell you something. If I have my way, the city council, the school committee, the school department will all be under investigation because I will make it my personal game, my personal war to make sure that every dime, every nickel, every penny is accounted for. That's what it's all about, letting people know what we're doing